Okay, we're gonna jump straight into this. What's up, my party people? It's your boy Darshaun Smith, aka the one and only Positivity God, also known on this podcast solely as Big D. And you are listening to episode, I'm pretty sure, 11 of the Positivity Hour, okay? This one's going to be nice, short, and sweet. We're going to talk about a few things. I got my list in front of me on my laptop. And let's jump straight into it. So, thank you all for tuning back in. If you are new, make sure you follow, and as I always say, maybe even unfollow, hate, comment, unlike, depending on where you're viewing this, and make sure you throw a hate comment in there, however you feel like you need to express yourself. Let me be the outlet, that you can do that for, okay? Because on the Positivity Hour, we're all about that positivity, okay? Up to an hour, but after your hour of venting, okay, you gotta cut it off, okay? You need to live a positive life, and to live a positive life, you need the opposite, to be good, you gotta have evil, okay? You need both. They both coexist, but then there's this stuff in the middle, and it's that neutral, okay? It's a balance, okay? But so yeah, that's the greeting for you. Let's get into the life update. Obviously, I haven't recorded a podcast episode in about 3 weeks, since my birthday, actually. No, it's been exactly 2 weeks, but I'm gonna post this like same day as I'm recording, and as I record this, it is currently Saturday, June 14th, or not Saturday, Sunday, June 14th, like I said, 2 weeks after my birthday. And yeah, so we're just gonna talk about a few things, talk about like, Black Lives Matter, and just doing research and how to get involved or how to support or how you may be the problem, And I plan to do this in about less than 10 minutes. So we're gonna keep this nice, short, and sweet. We're just gonna jump straight into it. So I myself am doing alright, I'm still alive, no bullet holes, and I don't get harassed too often by police or other figures of leadership and or figures of power. If you are just listening to this podcast instead of watching it, you did not see the air quotes that I tagged on there. But yes, those air quotes did exist, and they still do, and never will go away, because I feel like if you ever are a person who discriminates, especially in a position of power where you should be the lead figure in having equality in your organization or whatever, then I can't call you a leader, But we're just going to jump straight into the first topic here, which is, doing your own research. I've seen there's a lot of misinformation going around on both sides, the Black Lives Matter movement and, the All Lives Matter movement, I guess, to simplify this in the most basic way possible, which I'm not doing this justice for. We could talk about this more in depth next week, but I just need to start by making something, because I just haven't felt like making a video like this, because I've been so down because of how not serious some people are taking the Black Lives movement, or Black Lives Matter movement. Because it's like, I'm black, I value my life, and I hope you would too, and the fact that you say me valuing my life endangers your life is literally the problem, and then you say like your life can't matter because then mine won't. And it's like, this is one thing that I've tried to tell people, especially surrounding like our president and like his response to coronavirus, and how he pushed so hard just to open the economy. Like, this is why I say do your own research. And if you would do a simple Google search, maybe Bing is your thing, maybe Yahoo, okay, whatever it is, just search something, and sometimes you'll be able to find that, like I said earlier, with positivity and negativity, if you're going to open the economy, especially in a pandemic, you need to do it safely. Like, there are two sides to every coin. There are two sides to every story. There are two sides to, every water bottle, okay? So just know that, you know, you're terrific, and it's a red cone for the people who are listening, and also that it is okay to do two things at once. Like, there's nothing wrong with opening the economy, but you can't neglect the fact that you need to do it in a safe, moderated way. You know, you can't just be like, okay, let's let all hell break loose and just open everything up and hope Corona doesn't, skyrocket back up. You know, it's still going up in specific states. Luckily, Iowa, where I live, in Cedar Rapids, it's pretty stable right now. We just had like 300 new cases yesterday, which is on the decline. It is nice to say that I live in a state with a Republican governor who is questionable. I personally don't like him, but you know, she is not. She's responded to this whole thing in a very, I would say, a good manner. You know, she's trying her best. You know, she's doing what she needs to do to, you know, please the people, because she barely won the election, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, so moral of the story, people, do your own research, especially when we talk about what my next point is the Black Lives Matter movement as a whole. And what I say about this is what I tell everyone, you know, it's literally what I just said, you know. But I'm gonna say it in a different way. Instead of saying there's two sides to everything, you need to be that middle perspective, that neutral perspective, this perspective that goes outside of the two parties and looks at it from an equal and opposite perspective. You know, like Newton's third law. You know, with the object in motion, there needs to be an equal opposite reaction. You know, keep there. Yeah, whatever. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You paid attention to school, maybe. But yes, so I'm just saying you need to look at current social problems, especially. This is interesting for me because, you know, I'm literally in school right now. Well, it's summer break right now, but I'm in school as a future sociologist, you know, social science researcher who is, you know, gonna specifically focus on like inequality and like disparities among black people, you know. So like this time is especially interesting to me, and I am trying to see it from both perspectives. Especially a great place to do that, I feel like, because a lot of white people tune in there is Fox, you know. And I occasionally will go to Fox News and I will try to watch some of the programs, but like sometimes I just don't have it in me, you know. I as I say sometimes to my colleagues or my friends, you know, let's be informal. I do say let's be not formal here, whatever. I'll say it how Darshaun says it, you know, be one of a kind. That like I lose brain cells, you know. It is so hard for me to like grasp the concepts that are in their mind, and how they view me wanting to be an equal to them as a threat, you know. Like I just don't get how anybody could see that. And I'm not gonna lie, because on the Positivity Hour we are 100% truthful and we are brutally honest, that like sometimes I really wish that like everything was reversed, you know, and white people could experience the struggles, you know, of being black in America, but like in their case it'd be like white in America, you know. Just imagine if like black people were like the dominant culture or whatever, you know, and just like how that would impact and affect and maybe like change people's perspective. And I just definitely want to say that like I personally don't want them to go through what I have to go through, because it's not fun, you know. I could say in a lot of cases, you know, you can learn all you need to, all you would need or have to learn in about 5 minutes being black in America, you know, because in a lot of white people, I feel like couldn't even go a day, you know. Like maybe some could, because they catch a really privileged black person. And I don't mean to be like that, but you know, part of this whole movement of how to help out is acknowledging one's privilege. And I can definitely say that I am a very privileged African American. You know, I do not experience the same things that other people who look like me like have done. You know, I could definitely say, like Martin Luther King wanted, people judge me more by my character than by the color of my skin. I'm not saying it hasn't been the opposite of that, but I'm saying in my case it is more like that, which is really nice. And I that's why I'm a big advocate and always share and talk about behind the scenes, because that's where you win a battle, is when the cameras are off, when the social media is brought out of it, when it's you and 10 people and you gotta be the only person to stick up and be like, you know, I'm willing to cut all of y'all off if y'all don't change your thought process right now, you know. So I feel like a lot can be learned. Like I said, if you could change your perspective, you know, look at it from a black person's perspective, maybe look at it from one of the indigenous people of where we live, you know, and I can't even say North America because the white people called it that. You know, just the indigenous people, you know, who live here or who lived here first. You know, look at it from the European Americans or the white people. As I say, I don't want like calling them Caucasian or whatever, because that's not it. You know, if I was talking about this yesterday, not yesterday, but like a week ago with my sister, my older sister, and she was like, no, I said that, like, you know, I had thought really hard one day about how, like, white people call us African Americans. Well, I'm like, technically that is right. We came from Africa, but now we live in so-called America, you know, air quotes, so we're African American. But, like, by that same standard of what you're qualifying me as, then you yourself are a European American, and for you to say you're something other than that simply is not true to the own metrics you have set up for yourself, you know, or try to place upon others. So my thing is, especially in like the corporate world and what I want to see, and this is why I speak so often to people, especially behind the scenes, because not everyone can do it. I don't give a flying skadoodle what you have to say about me behind my back or whatever. I will have the tough in-person conversation. That's why I'm not one to, you know, talk about it so much online. But occasionally stuff gets to me and I'm just like, my G, I gotta go off real quick, you know? That, like, what was the point I'm trying to make here? Jeez, it was just right there and it fell off the tip of my head. Long story short, though, we're just gonna wrap all this up, you know, in one concise, like, sentence. Do your part, you know? Everyone has a part to play in this large thing called equality and equity for all, you know? I find it funny, especially in America, that we say, like, this is the United States of America with liberty and justice for all, but it's really not. It's liberty and justice for those European Americans and the few select, you know, people outside of that who get lucky, you know? And I can definitely say that, like I said, this is something that if we're going to change it, it's going to be long, it's going to be hard, and it's going to be tough. You're going to lose friends, you're going to gain friends, and things are going to be weird, you know, especially for white people who have never had to think about their privilege, and or same goes to like black people like myself. But like I said, I've been acknowledging that I'm a very privileged black person who have never like acknowledged that privilege. Be like, I've been stopped by the cops, I've been harassed and stuff, but I've never been like shoved to the ground. I've never been killed. Like I've never been like physically harmed by the police. Like I've never, like there are certain like little microaggressions, I would say, on a more often base that I face daily or whatever, especially when I was at Iowa. But like I'm not one to be like, oh, okay, like I'm just gonna take that because I need to fit in with these white people. Like I know I'm not gonna be someone I'm not. And that's the one thing that frustrates me, that like white people have to hold other European Americans accountable for. It's like you can't hate someone for being themselves. You can't just say like, oh, like look at those black people doing them. It's like, no, they're being themselves, and they are trying to get the same rights and standards and police reform and economic equality and so much more. The same type of health care that's provided, just like just everything. This is such a big, broad brush stroke, and what people are doing right now is it's nice. We're starting to paint the picture. So we've been painting the picture, but I feel like the picture that people have been painting for the last 400ish years is finally starting to show itself, and especially compared to like 50 years ago, like the brush is finally starting to get bigger. We started with the ultra fine tip. Like I have this candle here, and it has a pretty a pretty small whatchamacallit wick or whatever. I'm not sure if you could see that on the camera, but like we started with like something smaller than that, and now we're like to a chapstick like this, you know. We're getting there, okay? But like for this to work, we need a brush that's like 2 times the size of this big water bottle, okay? So progress is key. As long as we're moving in the right direction, a direction that has equal rights and justice and equality and lots of equity too for all people, no matter the color of your skin, no matter the religion you practice, no matter whatever it may be. You know, if we can live in a world that is inclusive, then that's great. Because the one thing I struggle to comprehend, like how other people don't know this too, is how we have so much more to gain as one than we have to do as many. And on that note, that is going to be the title of this episode of the Positivity Hour. And just like that, we're out. So thank you for listening. This has been nice, short and sweet, nice one take, nice podcast. I plan on having some people on here, some of my personal white allies, and some other people too, to have a controversial talk or two about everything that's going on right now in our world. Can't forget about COVID. That's still obviously affecting people, but you know, we talked about all of that. So thanks for tuning in. You know, make sure you like, unlike, or dislike, you know, unsubscribe, subscribe, hate, comment, you know, I don't care what you do, you know, just make sure you're trying to stay positive at the end of the day, and you know, that's what really counts. So it's been real. I love and appreciate you all. You know, Black Lives Matter, Black Fist up, and I'm very happy that I'm a black person in America right now. And if I had to choose between being white and black, oh, I'm choosing black 10 out of 10 10 out of 10 times. Okay, so on that note, it's been real, and peace.